Well, anyways, someone mentioned recursive editing. I was like, what's that? Um, and some other people also gave some examples. And I had a look at the documentation over here. There are actually two articles. Yeah, I had this already open. So it's a situation in which you are using Emacs commands to perform arbitrary editing while in the middle of another Emacs command. So if you think about it, this happens a lot, right? Like, for example, when you want to edit, when you're doing query replace, right? And then you edit, um, or there are also other cases. Um, Probably even when you use Embark export, right? I could see that as a possibility. Or also when you do iSearch, right? I believe iSearch has some of that functionality. Um, but what is cool to me is that you can do it in an explicit way. So, like, it's not a feature that's dependent of what tool you're using. You can do it regardless going into recursive editing. So you enter a recursive editing, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Session, whatever. And then you can exit it or abort it. So if you exit it, then it will the command that you came from will continue. Otherwise, you also stop that command. So we can try with query replace. Um, and let's go to the uh, let's go to the UV mode package. Why not? That I have neglected for all this time. So let me just change the scene. Yeah. So if we want to do something like that, of recursive editing here, for example, so we can do something where we want to, how do you say, we want to replace, right? Query replace. For example, I want to replace all concat with test string, right? So I will get the highlighted stuff, right? As usual. Oh, see that exited the thing. So I will get the highlighted matches, and then I can do yes. If for people that don't know, you can press the question mark as it tells you here, and you get some options, right? Honestly, I never care to look at all of these, only the exclamation mark, right? Because when you do this, you can do yes or an N for no for each match, or you can do the exclamation mark and just replace all of them. But sometimes you may want to edit out things before one of the matches, right? So what am I right now? I'm here. So let's try to do that. Um, Wait, let's open that again. So we have it under the eye. And you will see that here in the help, there's CR, and you cannot read the whole of it, whole of it, all of it. But it basically says to enter recursive edit, and then Control Alt C to get out. So that's the recursive edit that you can enter. So let's say that I want to change this. I change this into test string, change this into test string. Now here, for example, I want to change something. I want to write something before changing it, right? So what I will do is press Control R, and now I'm in a recursive edit, right? And you can notice something. Maybe you didn't, because I didn't. It's just written in the documentation. In your mode line, you get these little square brackets around your mode, current mode. That means that you are in a recursive level, right? So this is pretty cool because you can be aware of it, but it does not work with the Doom mode line. So if you guys like Doom mode line, this does not work with that. I'm not quite sure how to have it work with the Doom mode line. I don't use it that much anymore. I used to use it a lot, but now I don't. I use Smart mode line. I don't know if it's supported or not, but it looks nice, so I use that. And the Neon Cat, obviously. Right. So now I'm in the recursive edit. You can see that I can see all my matches still, but I can do whatever I want. So I can do test function, write down test function. And then if I want to go back to what I was doing, I can just press Control Alt C, right? And it will exit, and I'm back to the query replace. I can do yes. And now here, maybe here again, I need to write something down. Test function, right? And I can exit. I can do yes. Oh, that was unexpected. Huh. What if I change here? Test function. And then I do exit. In this case is fine. Maybe if you write, if you insert text right next to it, it's going to be a problem. But anyways, yeah. So this is what you can do. One of the things that you can do. And let's remove all of this gibberish. And it's pretty interesting because it makes you think about the potential. And as I said, you can do it regardless. So we can do it even like nested. So before doing regardless, let's do it nested. Let's say that I want to change concat to test string again, right? And I'm here and I'm like, oh yeah, but before doing that, let's keep that in mind. I also want to change, I don't know, whatever occurrence of buffer to Pokemon, right? So what I can do is another buffer to Pokemon, right? And you can see that the highlighting went away, and we are still one level nested, right? Because of the square brackets. And I substitute this one. I'm like, oh, I need to change this as well here. So I will just press Control R, and now you can see I have two square brackets. So that means that I'm 2 levels deep. It's like Inception, really. A dream in a dream. A dream, right? And now I can exit this, and I can substitute this, and I can be like, okay, this is enough for the buffers. I need to go back to what I was doing before, which is the concats. So I exited 2 levels of recursion, and I'm back to the concats, and I can change the concats, right? So this is pretty cool. And let's undo all of this stuff. Okay, so it's pretty cool. You can go several levels deep. There's a warning that you can Stack Overflow. If you go too deep in the documentation, it says that you should be careful. It's like something that you should not do as a default, but now that I learned about it, I just want to use it for everything, but I think it will go away. Let's see. I can do this explicitly, right? Recursive edit, and look at what happens here. I go 1 level deep, and then I can do it again, another level deep, another one, another one, another one, and I can exit them. But it's pretty interesting. Like, another thing is this. I have the matches. If I scroll, it exits the query replace, which is super annoying. I had no idea. I just learned this. But in my case, it does. So what I can do is just Control R and then scroll how much I want, and then exit, and I'll be the recursion level, and I'll be back there. So this is quite cool. I think it's pretty cool already like this, but there are more uses. So one of the users says that they use it with macros, because what you can do is have a macro with variation, which I knew they existed, but I never used. Sorry. And so what you can do is basically an idea of how to use it is basically execute all your stuff, and all your macro stuff, and specify a point where you have to stop and input data. But the nice thing is that with the recursive thing, the recursive editing, you can just right, you can just insert whatever you want. So we can try a macro like that. We can try it in a test file, test.file.txt. We can do this, 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 this. Just a simple file, and let's do a very silly example that has no meaning whatsoever. We can start a macro. I always forget the key binding for the macro. To end is the parentheses. I always remember that, but I never remember how to start it. Start macro. Oh, it's the open parenthesis. Yeah. Was it the open parenthesis? Start macro. No, not macro. Macro. Yeah, Control X, open parenthesis. So define keyboard macro. I will do Alt N to go to the next paragraph. Do A, then enter, and then I want, well, this is a normal macro. So let's try to, let's try to execute it. So the macro execute, execute, no, call macro. And call macro. Call the keyboard macro that you defined. Okay. So see, I have several. I'm pretty sure I can do it even several times. Like if I do Control N7 and then call it, yeah, I can just do it like that. So very well. But now let's try to define it with the variation. I think you have to press a key binding, but I don't remember which. Control XQ. You will get asked something when you do that. So let's start the macro. We do return, and then Control XQ to ask something, and then we do RA, and then we close our macro. Right. Let's try to do it. Proceed with keyboard macro. Yes. So this is pretty nice, because what I can do is 7 times this, and the first time it will be yes, second time yes, yes, and here maybe I need to do something different. I do Control R, say hello, and you can see that I did Control R, and now we are in recursive. Hello, and then I can exit this, right? And I can just keep going. And it added the A at the end. So that's pretty cool. So you can see how this how you can make it scale, kind of, right? It's pretty cool. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's also the command top level, right? So if we go with recursive edit several levels deep, you see we are 4 levels deep, we can do top level. And we're back to the original one. And this, however, will cancel any commands that are in the stack. So if you have commands in the stack, those will just be aborted. Oh, it also says the text being edited inside the recursive edit need not to be the same text that you were editing at top level. So that's why there was weird behavior with the query replace. It depends on what the recursive edit is for. If the command that invokes the recursive edit selects a different buffer list, that is the buffer you will edit recursively. You can switch buffer within the recursive edit in the normal manner. You could probably do all the rest of your editing inside the recursive editing. Yeah, exactly. And this is where it tells you just be careful. Right. Okay. So this was it for the recursive editing. Recurse editing. So, right. And we can try the one with the board. So if I do the query replace again, I do ASD, right? And I substitute it with 1, 2, 3. Can do yes, yes, and then the edit, and just do like this. And then I can decide to just quit everything, like this, I believe. No? Oh no. Was it like that? Oh, close parenthesis, close square bracket. Yeah, close square bracket. And so I'm out of the level, right? I changed that. Now I go into recursive here. You see, square bracket. I go up, do my test, and then I can just, instead of exiting with Control Alt C, I can just Control close square bracket, and I exit the command as well. And which is the same as doing top level if you are in nested, right? But this is just level by level. Okay. So this was the overview. I don't think there's much else about it. Pretty interesting, really, because I had no idea about this. Like, I probably read it, maybe, and never tried it. But yeah. And let's see if someone else has added any uses. Recursive editing while doing stuff with multiple cursors in an editable grep result buffer. Right. Yeah, that's also a pretty good use case. Not with the grep, but we can use occur, right? Um, and we can export this. No? Oh yeah. ASD, uh, control period, and then export with embark. I think this is an occur buffer, right? Yes, it's an occur buffer. It's in the mode line. So now that I'm editing it, I can, for example, query replace, and I can replace all the A's with an R, for example, right? And I can do yes, 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 but then, oh, stop. I don't want to do that to this one. To this one, I want to add the G, and then I can exit and keep going. Sorry. So, okay, that was it, really. How do I exit the occur editing? Occur cease edit. Cease edit. Okay, very good. Yeah, I think I can go now to the other article that I was interested in. Let's go to the browser. So these were the users. This user also says that they like to interactively test out different configuration values and auto reset them when done. That's, I don't know how you can do that with this, but the fact that you can probably tells how much I still cannot appreciate of the feature. I also use it like a less fancy generator when I want to iterate through things, context or context. I don't do that much deep org mode stuff to be familiar with that, and do arbitrary stuff in each iteration. Okay, that's only the one. Okay. But yeah, pretty cool stuff in my opinion. It was me being surprised about this.